Our motherland is Russia. Its territory is as boundless as its history. Throughout thousands of years, our state developed, its towns were built, churches and monasteries were founded, and people overcame wars and calamities. Political regimes changed.
Unfortunately, time spares neither wood nor stone, not even people's memory. But fortunately, still there are some places left where people come to touch the past.
To know how their ancestors lived. These are not only museums and palaces of the nobility, but also churches that we have many in Russia. Each such place has its own history dating back into the past.
Each thing in such places is a link with the past, a way to the beginning.
About such dumb witnesses of the history of our home place we will talk in our film.
First recorded word of Vasilevskoe was in 1498, where the Prince Ivan Borisovich in charge of his village Vasilevskoe to the Simonov monastery of Moscow. In the documents of the 16th century, the village Vasilevskoe was mentioned as the village belonging to the royal family. In 1619, Vasilevskoe was in the patrimony of the Atamans. The wooden resurrection church by that time had been built, but by whom and when is still unknown. In 1626-1673, Vasilevskoe village belonged to the Novospassky monastery. It can be assumed that in Hell's time there was a cell there the brethren lived.
In 1690, Vasilevskoe was sold to a major politician and diplomat, Yamalin Ignatievich Ukraintsev. In the years 1704-1706, Yamalin Ukraintsev built a stone church, which was a renovation of the Church of the Resurrection. The years went by, the village and the newly built church passed into the hands of the new owners, becoming silent witnesses of the birth, life and death of the inhabitants. At the end of the 18th century, the village was bought by Ivan Yakovlev, the father of Alexander Herzen.
During the invasion of Napoleon in 1812, the village of Vasilevskoe was on the territory occupied by the enemy. The church was looted. Later the village was bought by the Major General of the Cavalry, Nikolai Shubatov, by the order of his cousin Duke Alexander Shubatov. In 1881, a castle was built in Vasilevskoe. In the village of Vasilevskoe, the Shubatov started a parish school, a hospital with maternity section. They also supported priesthood, restored the Temple of Resurrection of Christ after the flood, which happened in 1908, helped peasants. Between 1915 and 1917, on Maria Hill near the Prince's Castle, a unique church was built. After the death of both son and husband, Princess Olga Alexandrovna Shubatova decided to build a shrine. In the spring of 1916, the church of Saint Alexander Nevsky was dedicated.
After the revolution, the castle of the Shubatovs was plundered. In 1919, inside of the abandoned building, the construction of a sanatorium was begun. Around it, people built wooden houses, and that was the beginning of the history of the sanatorium named after Herzen. During the Great Patriotic War, the front line lay along the Moscow River, and in the castle there was a hospital. Before the invasion of the Germans, the Soviet government ordered to burn the village, while the stone houses and the belfry of the Resurrection Church was exploded. The dome of the Alexander Nevsky Church was also destroyed. In 1946, people decided to change the church into a water tower. Then, woodworkers were placed inside the church. The castle of the Shubatovs and the Resurrection Church, as well as Alexander Nevsky Church, had all been neglected for a long time, and the restoration work began only at the end of the 20th century.
The Church of Resurrection of Christ in the village Vasilevskoe district has been on the bank of the Moscow River for more than 300 years. The Resurrection Church was built on the place of the older one by the companion of Peter I, Lector Emilian Ukraintsev, between 1702 and 1706.
The last priest of the church before its closure, Father Nikolai Vinogradov, was arrested in 1937 and repressed. Now he is canonized as a new martyr and confessor of Russia. After the priest had been arrested, the church was closed. There was stone manufacture, grain storage, milk storage. Well, during the war in 1941, the belfry was blown up. The church was returned to people in 1991, while in September 2002, the first liturgy was changed.
We managed to tell you about some of the places we have in our home region. It's so easy in your weekend to gather together with your family and to plunge into history, to see outstanding architectural masterpieces, to bend before holy icons, to attend liturgy.
In such places dumb stones become alive and tell us the